I guess the first question would be to learn a bit more about yourself and your role. So if you could introduce yourself, what's your role, responsibilities you tend to work with, anything else you want to mention?
Yeah, so I am a founder of a HubSpot agency. We help teams build out their sales and marketing processes through HubSpot. That includes content, social media, and some technical sides like the operations, back end integrations, and things like that. So, pretty well rounded in marketing and sales. A little bit about my background. I have about 7 years of digital marketing experience that started actually in social media, eventually grew my way through website development, SEO, and things like that. So I have pretty good, well-rounded experience in content as far as, SEO and then also social media, organic content.
Wow. Cool, that's really cool. And also that you specialize in HubSpot. When was the last time you had to strategically use organic growth for one of your clients? Could you talk about that time a bit more?
Yeah, actually, I could really talk about the business I'm growing. Our main driver is organic content. We're really trying to drive value-based content. We feel like value-based content is a way for people to understand our expertise and provide value up front with no ask. When I'm talking about value-based content, I mean providing some snippet of our expertise, whether it's solution and new updates on HubSpot or our experiences, our client wins. We definitely love to share that. But we believe the growth and the trends heading and into 2025 is definitely value-based content. But that's our most recent way of growing organically, and probably the most relative story to this study is definitely our business.
Sense. And I guess when you are implementing those growth strategies and campaigns, what steps do you take?
It starts out with who's our audience. I think that's really important to understand. Sometimes or engagement and some of those metrics really don't matter if you're not targeting your right audience. I think that's a lot people miss when they're trying to grow organic. Is it VP of marketing? Is it a salesperson? Is it owners? Understanding that is definitely number one step. Number two is what value can we add to their business or to their life? For us, it's HubSpot users. How can we add value, give them tips without having them pay for our service? It's about warming them up. So number two is definitely building what can we provide value to. Three is building content around that. Is there certain trends we can tie this content to? One of the things we've been looking at is TikTok trends. How do we pair not so fun technical solutions to how can we add value and also make this funny and fun with like a TikTok trend or something like that. So three is just building that content around it. And then four is obviously publishing it. And that's really our steps to building out like planning content for organic use.
Yeah, I guess in what you described, what's the most difficult?
Providing value. Even though you could be the expert, it's really hard to understand. Every company has their own different needs. If you go a kind of a mass group of people, it's going to be really hard to understand. It's really going to be hard to connect with them. Certain problems or solutions definitely can be done, but that focusing on individual niches and groups. Like, and again, it goes back to understanding why you're doing organic content in the first place and your ICP.
And I suppose if you had unlimited resources like time, money, people, what would you do?
Yeah, I would. If I had unlimited resources, I would definitely just be posting video content around solution-based, value-based work. I would scale that up, increase our visual production, build some more courses, and then post more. That's what I would do.
Is there anything else you would add?
As far as the future goes, I definitely think AI writing is becoming more detected, but also at the same time, AI is getting better at understanding how not to be detected. So I think AI has a big play in the future, whether more people are more interested in reading about it versus letting AI craft your posts. I think there's a role for AI and everything, but it definitely needs to be limited in some senses, and a lot of human touch needs to be in place. Video content is a great way to understand that, hey, you're not an AI. The script might be AI to a certain degree, but it's always great to see human touch and content. I think that's the way it's going.
That's that's where like our questions on this subject sort of come to close. I found like very interesting answers you mentioned, and it's certainly something we heard as well. For example, this whole piece of creating more content and allowing the algorithms to pick which ones they're gonna push out is more important. Like we hear that in PPC as well, in paid advertising, but also in organic advertising. And I suppose like one of our goals here in Marlem is we're building these type of tools for the future of organic growth. And I suppose it would be really interesting to get your insights on what we're building. I guess one more question I had is this a whole like HubSpot landing pages. I know we helped a number of clients with HubSpot landing pages, and they were saying HubSpot landing pages are somehow not ranking, or maybe they're not doing this or that. We've heard that from a number of enterprises, that same complaint, and we've worked with them, made a huge difference. I don't know if this is something you see. I'm not a HubSpot expert necessarily, but I'm curious what you see there. Why are HubSpot landing pages not performing?
It's a typical trend, and there's a lot of factors in it. I'm sure like it could be, it's always like there's always a few reasons why your landing page is not working. Most of the time, content's there. It's does Google understand it and digest it correctly? Is the schema set up correctly? Are you indexing correctly? Is your website have a strong enough domain and authority to rank? If you're just starting out, it's definitely going to take some time. But most of the problems I see is relaying that information back to Google is the biggest one I see. Content's there. And so, it's again, I think definitely has to do sometimes with HubSpot and just like understanding the interface where important information lies. I've seen people use apps to help with SEO performance metrics and ranking. There's even case studies out there where publishing the same blog on WordPress versus like HubSpot, you're seeing you're seeing very different results and some trends that sometimes favor HubSpot, sometimes favor WordPress, goes back and forth.
Interesting.